was a better villain in The Little Mermaid 2. This is fan fiction. Ding! Dun, 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 dun. As I said before, these Disney Elseworlds are designed for me to fix them, to not per se fix a movie and ruin it, but fix a movie that I think could do with a little bit of fixing. And one of those movies is The Little Mermaid 3. Movies is The Little Mermaid 3, Ariel's Beginning. Movies is The Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. Now, by no means is this sequel bad. I can say I like this sequel. It's a case where the sequel is better than the original. Sure, there are a lot of Little Mermaid detractors, probably fans of the original Little Mermaid, who think that the original is better than its sequel, which I'm okay with. To each your own. I won't argue if you like something that I find has flaws. But the one flaw that I find in this movie are two flaws. Ariel and Morgana. Two characters that, well, Ariel was the main protagonist of the first movie. But in this movie, she becomes a copy of her father, which I don't find bad. Which I don't find Ariel turning into a copy of King Triton bad. It's only how the change is made as a change in the movie. Like how Triton kept the secret of why land is dangerous from Ariel, Ariel's keeping secrets of why the sea is dangerous to her daughter. Two plot threads that I thought would converge in The Little Mermaid 2. Maybe with Morgana doing a little sideways manipulation. Something that her sister Ursula was good at. What made Ursula a good villain was she could manipulate any situation. Ursula was able to manipulate Ariel to selling her voice and almost soul to her in exchange for human legs. To explore the land that her father deemed forbidden. All that being said, Fanfiction presents my version of The Little Mermaid 2, Little Mermaid 2, Return to the Sea. New rule. All right, let's get into some of the rules of this fanfiction, of this Elseworld. In order for me to do this right, I may have to borrow some from The Little Mermaid 3, Ariel's Beginning. Maybe some subtle nods to Ariel's backstory could be explored in this movie, but not a lot. We want Ariel's backstory to be explored in the prequel third movie. We don't want Ariel's backstory to be explored here. Ariel's backstory of how she saved music for her entire kingdom can be saved for the third and ultimately last installment in the Little Mermaid franchise. Maybe Ariel has one dangerous memory of the sea from pirates who killed her mother. Maybe that's the reason why Ariel sees the sea as dangerous. Maybe she will lie to Melody by saying the sea is dangerous because pirates killed her grandmother and killed her mother. Now, I won't show that. Believe me, I won't show that. I'll just reference it. Item 2. Ariel's sisters. These three were highly wasted potential. I thought they would get a bigger role in the second movie, not the third one. Sure, the prequel could have showed Ariel's family life at home, showing how she and her sisters have differing ideologies on things. Maybe showing how Ariel and her sisters have differing ideologies or something. Basically a clash of ideals, but that worked good, but I thought Ariel's sisters could get a bigger role in what should have been the sequel. They were labeled as side characters in the first movie. Yeah, that's all Ariel's sisters were, glorified side characters. They never had any role in the second movie, the first movie whatsoever. We see them in a big musical production number in the first movie, and that's it. For really, I think they have bigger roles in the Little Mermaid Dark Horse comic run than they do in the original movie. Well, I know that Ariel's sisters were possibly Disney's idea that they were the least important characters in the first movie. So that's why they were demoted to glorified side characters. But Disney didn't seem to... Possibly that's not what Disney's original plan was. I don't think the Mouse House's original plan was to make Ariel's sisters side characters at all. I think they had a plan for them in the second movie, but then decided to demote them to side characters. Proving that Disney did have plans for Ariel's 5 sisters, but Ariel's 5 older sisters, but didn't know how to use them right. This is where our what if could explore Ariel's sisters. Maybe we could see them in the opening scene of the movie before Melody's coronation as they swim up to the surface ahead of their father to take a look at their niece. Now, Ariel has already picked out the name Melody, which a lot of her sisters agree with. And I think Atina wouldn't. I think she would try to name Melody instead. Give her a more regal Atlantica name. We could even get some hints at what Ariel's regal name was before she shortened her name down a bit. Next scene, Morgana's attack. All right, that scene can play out the exact same way we left it in the original movie, with one added change to it. That added change will be Morgana saying, rubbing a tentacle around Ariel and saying, "It's so nice to finally meet you." As Ariel said that she never met her before. Morgana says, "Right. Ursula never talked about me, did she?" This is where Sebastian would tell Ariel that that's Morgana's sister. And then Sebastian would spill the beans. That is Ursula's sister. As Ariel would say she knows nothing about Ariel having any family, Morgana would then reveal, "Blame Triton. He was the one who exiled our entire family." Ariel freezes, looking at her father. Now, this is where her father could dump some exposition on us. This is where her father could dump some exposition on his daughter, like say that he chose to banish Ursula and her entire family from Atlantica after she was revealed to be using dark magic. Morgana releases Ariel back on the boat and actually tells her, "I have to thank you, though, Ariel, for killing off my sister." Ursula was always cocky, so seeing her defeated by the person she made a deal with, just funny. Morgana is defeated. Undertow is turned into an anchovy by Triton's trident, and everything basically plays out the exact same way going forward. Our next change comes at Melody's 12th birthday. It's already been hinted that Melody's been swimming under the built wall that blocks the sea and the land from each other. It's only hinted that Melody's been doing this because she doesn't want their lands to be separated. Something that her mother wants. Now, I'm sure this topic could be tackled in possibly a sequel to the live action remake. So we don't have to discuss much here, and this could be discussed, say, in a sequel to the live-action Little Mermaid remake. This version of Morgana could be discussed further in a live-action sequel to the Little Mermaid live-action remake. So I wouldn't want to talk about Morgana fully here. I would want to make her and Ursula's relationship maybe revealed in a live-action sequel to the live-action Little Mermaid remake. If Disney decides to do a live-action Return to the Sea. Given how negative the box office returns were for the Little Mermaid live-action remake, I don't know if Disney would want to go back and do a sequel to that film. The box office returns were pretty not positive for the Little Mermaid live-action remake. Almost all the box office returns were negative. The worst returns of any Disney live-action remake ever. Even the Mulan one in 2020 had bad box office returns. But that had to do with the virus that should not be named. But that had to do with COVID. It had nothing to do with why the Little Mermaid flopped. The Little Mermaid flopped due to a different pandemic, the Actors Union. The Actors Union went on strike in 2020 The actors and writers unions went on strike in late 2023, putting the whole film industry in shambles during that time. So the live action Little Mermaid cast couldn't go out and basically market their movie. But that is where I would have brought in the Disney Plus premiere angle again. But I'll discuss more on that when I get around to it. I do have plans for a live action. I do have a plan for a Little Mermaid fanfiction month too. That month, I'm hoping to release in April. I'm hoping. March will be all for Alice in Wonderland. Disney Elseworlds do not work for live action remakes. Live action Disney remakes have to be tackled in fan fiction style. I will only use the Disney Elseworlds angle for the animated films. All right, sorry, back to the changes. When Melody finds the locket, both Morgana and Undertow see an opening. An opening to make Ariel and Trident both pay. But I think Morgana would target one person at a time. Once Morgana sees the locket, she automatically knows what will happen next. Once Melody opens the locket, she'll have lots of questions. And who will be there with all the answers? You will. Finally, I'll succeed in what my sister never could. The destruction of Ariel and control of the sea. And I'll be big again. Yep, Morgana's goal is both the destruction of Ariel The birthday celebration can play out the same as we enter the major part of the movie. We're going to see that Ariel plays a Trident card right here, sending Melody running out in tears and rowing off. Undertow and the Stingrays return to pick Melody up, telling her that they can take her to someone with answers, Morgana. Melody agrees as Sebastian runs to Ariel in panic. She then explains to her father and sisters about this, leaving the sisters saying, "We should have left Ariel. We should have stayed with her. Father, you should have given us legs and we could have stayed with Ariel." I know. This is half my fault. Trident turns Ariel back into a mermaid as Ariel tells Eric to remain here in case Melody comes home, as she splashes back under the sea and into the water. Now these two scenes interlap, as Morgana is here. As Melody arrives to Morgana's lair, she meets the twin sister of Ursula, the very same sea witch who gave her mother human legs, the sister of the same sea witch that gave her mother human legs in exchange for her voice. But wait a minute, Melody knows nothing about that story. So could this be something to manipulate Melody with? No! I won't use that to manipulate Melody till later in the movie. That'll be the giant shocker. That'll be the giant shocking plot twist in the end. Morgana's final push of manipulation. Morgana's trying to be the mother figure that Melody never had. When Melody never had a mother figure, because Ariel was always the overprotective parent, Morgana could be the one with all the answers Melody seeks. And she explains that she can give her answers as she pulls out Ursula's magic, as Undertow says, "Ursula's magic? You could have made me big the whole time!" But then Morgana says, "There's only a drop left. You would have been big for like 10 minutes and then you would have turned back into an anchovy." She drops it on Ariel's daughter's legs as they turn into a fishtail. The For the Moment song plays out the exact same way as Morgana, let's say, cries a bit. Faye cries a little bit. She tells her there was not enough magic in that bottle to make her permanent. Saying that after her mother killed her sister, there wasn't enough magic to make it permanent. Now let's say the lie of the trident plays out the same way. As Morgana gives Melody the coordinates of Atlantica, which Melody now realizes isn't a fisherman's tale. As Morgana asks, "Who told you that?" "My mother." We all have mothers that could be deceitful. You think your mother lied to you because she was hiding you from your destiny? As Melody looks at the locket and dusts off the letters to reveal her name on the locket. Yep, Morgana's manipulation has begun. Now Morgana is beginning her end game. Saying that if you return me my trident, I'll tell you a secret that will knock your fins off. As Melody swims off, we can now get the same tip and dash scenes. Only now Tip and Dash recognize, see Melody's same design. "Hey, are you the daughter of Ariel by any chance?" As she asks why. They explain, "Well, your mother saved both me and Dash here, me and Tip, from a big iceberg. But my mother was a human, I think." Now Melody's slowly piecing the puzzle together. Looking at her fishtail, Melody thinks her mother was telling more of a fib about who she really was, and so was her father. Her father said that he found her mother in a shipwreck, lying that salt water got in her throat, making her unable to talk. That's what I think the lie would have been, to throw Melody off her mother's trail, off of her mother's fishtail. After a true love's kiss moment, was her voice finally restored. So now Melody's starting to piece together the puzzle. Melody and Tip and Dash swim directly to Atlantica as our plot threads finally intersect. Melody steals the trident with Ariel now in hot pursuit. Once Ariel and Melody arrive at Morgana's lair at the exact same time, Morgana says, "Ariel, welcome!" As Melody hands Morgana the trident, saying that she owes her the big secret. As Ariel is now in shock, but Morgana says, "Your mother wasn't telling you the whole story. Your mother was a mermaid." "But she was a human saved from a shipwreck?" After hearing that lie, after my stingrays heard that lie, I was laughing hysterically. As Ariel freezes. "What? You didn't tell your daughter the truth? That you sold your voice to my sister for a pair of human legs?" Melody freezes, asking her mother if that story is true, and her mother says it is. She revealed that she was just as young and naive as her once, having a fascination for the sea, having a fascination for land and all of its and all of the humans that inhabit it. Melody freezes in place as Morgana blasts Ariel and turns Melody back into a human, laughing. As the final battle can play out the exact same way we left it. Morgana basically and Undertow both get hit by an iceberg. Ariel helps Tip and Dash push an iceberg off of the ledge, knocking it down as it slams on Morgana, sending her flying and against the wall. As Morgana looks up, the iceberg smashes her down, sending the dartboard with Ursula's face down with her. We only hear Morgana's screams for 1 minute as Ariel and her daughter embrace. Ariel apologizes for everything, not telling her the truth about Ursula, not even telling her the truth about what she really was. The mother, daughter, and father all share an emotional embrace, with her father explaining, "I'm pretty guilty too. I also should have talked about about how me and your mother first met." As Melody asks, what else did she miss? Eric explains that Ariel saved him. He didn't know who Ariel was at first, but he knew someone saved him from his shipwreck. He knows someone saved him from his ship's explosion, but he didn't know who this someone was. The movie ends the exact same way. Alright, now how do I fix The Little Mermaid 3, you may ask? Does it need fixing? Or can The Little Mermaid 3 Ariel's beginning remain the same way we left it, without any changes? Well, I guess I could leave one change opened. That change is Ursula. I want or the character of Marina, Trident's advisor before Ursula, to remain the villain. Marina, or whatever her name was, made the perfect villain. She basically made the perfect villain for The Little Mermaid's first dive into prequel material. Something that Disney never made a dive into. The material of prequels wasn't something The Little Mermaid delved into. So getting the prequel that we got was a good idea. Getting a prequel that told the events before The Little Mermaid, before Ariel and Eric met, before Melody was even born. So this left a lot to be desired as a prequel and a new movie. The meaning of Ariel and Flounder can also be added in here, even though their meaning was explored in The Little Mermaid, the series. Another series taking place in between The Little Mermaid and The Little Mermaid 3, Ariel's beginning. The series took place in between the two movies, allowing people to both... The series even got limited comics. Disney did a limited time comic run for The Little Mermaid, as well as a full comic run for it. Any of these scenes could have made perfect for The Little Mermaid, the series. Like the explorations of electric eel serpent, like exploration of the serpent mermaids. Mermaids with electric eel tails that basically work like electric eels. By no means was this easy. A matter of fact, this fan fiction I already did, but didn't get good footage for. Halle Bailey's remake has possibly made the Little Mermaid series and the first Little Mermaid possibly not canon. Even though Halle Bailey's The Little Mermaid revealed it has no ties with the Little Mermaid, it may have ties with it than we believed and than it let on. Halle Bailey's version of the Little Mermaid story could have still some ties with the Little Mermaid. The live-action remake does mention Ariel's mother, so it could still say that The Little Mermaid Ariel's beginning is canon to this live-action timeline. Meaning that Ariel's mother's death is still canon. The death of Ariel's mother could be a major reason why the land is forbidden. But that's another topic for another video. I do have plans to do Ursula as a better villain. As a matter of fact, I do have plans to do a timeline where Ursula was a better villain too. Now, unlike most of my fan Disney Elseworlds stories, Disney Elseworlds hold no sway with the original movies. So I can tell these stories without any trouble. Without any of the trouble of upsetting fans of the original timelines. I tell alternate timelines all the time. Alternate timeline stories are some of my favorites. Timelines that tell different parallel realities to the original projects we watch. Marvel Studios did a great example of this with Marvel Animation's What If? Even though that series ended more with a whimper than a bang. The Watcher will return in this year's Fantastic Four First Steps, as hinted in What If Season 3's finale. When the emissaries, these other Watchers, listed a long list of all the Marvel characters he's intervened to save. Characters like Riri Williams, Williams, and even a variant of Reed Richards. Now, why does this mean so? Actually, that's for another video. I do have a theory ready. I already do have a theory video ready for this one. What role the Watcher will have in Doomsday and Secret Wars will be revealed possibly very soon. Until then, I'll see you guys next time.